please, this gentleman.
Thanks, Paul. We had also a quite interesting conversation during the lunch, and let me summarize 3 points here.
Very quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. First, we're talking about sustainability, but the sustainability must be equal to profitability, actually, at the end of the day, if the investors make decisions. But if we take a look at the, for example, the Dow Jones Sustainability Index in the last decades, the performance is not very well, actually. The economic upturn, they outperform, but in the economic downturn in 2008, they even downperform for example, the MSCI World Index. So I think the stock exchange can make a case in the way that you promote the sustainability index, make the sort of criterion more livelihood, and now we have the chance to have this low carbon concept and have this carbon efficiency index, for example, and I am worried about the MSCI one. So how we can sort of leverage these issues, this low carbon concept to make our investment more attractive. And the second point is maybe 2 sub-points about regulatory measurement. I think there's, we talked about this evening about reporting, but the interest of the investment community is not so strong. But as a regulator, what you can do is maybe in the first stage have sort of the green IPO process. If the company is not environmentally perform well, they probably were hard to go IPOs. That send a really good message. I know that Shanghai Stock Exchange is doing these things pretty well. And the second B is
have to hurry a little bit now. So
that's the last point I made related to the gentleman previously. The penalty about false environmental information disclosure should be much more straighter and sharper if this company made it wrong. And, yes.
Excellent. Which institution are you from?
I'm Philip Wei from Greenpeace, as a Sustainable Finance Officer.
Thank you for the question. We'll take one more question or point, and then we'll come back to those answers and then go to a second round. I think the gentleman from Sintao, I believe.
Yes. Thank you. 我的问题是给这个上交所的彭亮主席的，所以我用中文来提问。我是来自上交纵横的播客员，我们是做这个结社这方面的咨询工作，所以我们对这个上交所这个上证这个结社人指数是非常的关注。而且我同时也发现最近中证公司是做了一个跟意大利的一个公司叫 ECPI 做了一个叫 ECPI ESG 的可持发展指数，应该是这个月来发布。那么我的问题就是这两个指数之间有没有一个关联，以及从交易所这个角度，是不是希望看到越多的这一类的指数越好？以及您怎么评价这个投资者现在对这些指数是否认可？谢谢。
Okay, we'll hover on those 3 questions. So running to the first one in terms of issues around companies and disclosure.
Thank you. Disclosure of financial statements, of course, very key for maintenance of integrity of the stock exchange. And a large part of our own listing requirements actually relates to disclosure. So in that respect, at the exchange, we take a very strict view on whatever non-compliances relating to financial statements. And if there is an instance of a company that publishes false and misleading financial statement, that will be the subject of enforcement action. And in this respect, we will direct our enforcement action not only to the company, but also the culpable directors. Right? So if you have read the papers, I think about 3 days ago, right? We had actually imposed very severe penalties on the directors of a company called Transmile. right? Whilst Transmile occurred some time ago, it has taken us quite some time to get here because we had a lot of legal hurdles, right? We had applications after applications being made to the courts to stop us from taking the action. So that was all resolved, and we were finally able to proceed, and very significant fines were imposed on the culpable directors. But in instances where these non-compliances are significant and it has a market impact, the securities regulator, namely the Securities Commission, will also take enforcement action. So with respect to this particular case, the Securities Commission has also charged the culpable directors and the matters before the courts. So we take a very strict view, and we will impose penalties which are befitting the offense, and generally when it comes to false and misleading statements, the penalties are heavy, and they will be directed towards the directors. We do not impose fines on companies, but on culpable directors. Yeah?
It's also regarding non-financial reporting.
Okay, when it comes to non-financial reporting, then the issue is materiality, right? How material is that information? So, for example, if there is some violation, of environmental law that prevents you from carrying out a certain part of your business that then affects your revenue in a significant manner, then that should be the subject of immediate disclosure. So, for non-financials, it really depends on how material is it. Does it impact operations, finance, or the decision of a reasonable investor? So, if there's non-compliance in that respect, yes, we do. For example, there have been instances where manufacturing licenses were cancelled, a particular line of business was seized with, and there was no disclosure made. So in those instances, we have taken action. And again, in those instances, the culpable directors will also be brought to book.
Good. Let's go to the specific question to Chairman Gang in terms of the Shanghai Stock Exchange.
社会责任信息的披露和社会责任指数和社会责任 ETF 的推出，在这个过程中呢，首先是社会责任信息的披露。在这个过程中呢，我们也遇到一个困难，就是社会责任的量化。社会责任的量化可以说简单，也可以说是很复杂。企业汶川地震，它捐了多少款？玉树地震，它捐了多少款？它组织了多少希望小学？它为了治理环境，它进行了多少投入？这个在财务报表上都能够看得出来。看不出来的，在财务报表上看不出来，是它取得的社会效益。这个是没有办法评估的，没有办法量化的。我进行了改造了我的环境，取得了多大的社会效应？这个在财务报表上是看不出来的。上海证券交易所，我们现在正在研究，企图把社会责任把它量化。把它量化呢，只能使用虚拟指标，它取得的社会效应只能使用虚拟的指标来表示来。这个事情呢，正在研究的过程之中。这是我想说的第一点。我想说的第二点，就是这个 ETF， 刚才李先生讲了，上交所和意大利中证指数公司和意大利的一个机构推出的40社会责任指数，这个40社会责任指数的 ETF 还不是指数，是 ETF， 准备发行的，指数是 ETF， 指数这个现在正在准备推出来。我们觉得呢，它应当是一个好的生物，这个，但是也并不一定是社会责任指数推出的越多越好，因为上证已经有了上证100社会责任指数，上证100社会责任指数 ETF， 现在又有上证，我不知道叫什么名字，上证和意大利的一个机构推出的40社会责任指数，对这个指数的推出，我们觉得应当是一个好事情，给投资者， 给投资者一个标的物，上海证券交易所40个企业，它履行社会责任的情况作为一个标的，推给市场。刚才我觉得你刚才提那个问题是很有意义的，就是怎么量化，怎么量化，怎么怎么量化社会责任，尤其是量化社会责任取得社会效益，这个研究之中。好，谢谢。
Okay, thank you very much. Does anyone want to take any elements of the question from our friend from Greenpeace?
Let's say in a technical and in an activity way, it has to be presented. I mean, if you give an explanation about a group active in chemicals industry and what the repercussion may be, it has to be done in a very scientific manner, and this sometimes conflicts in a way it is perceived by the public at large according to information being published in newspaper. And that's sometimes a very complex dilemma to merge both things. And therefore, if you make a framework of what information has to be published, to make a framework where you resolve already problems that may arise tomorrow is almost a mission impossible. But nonetheless, we have to be concerned, and people at large are concerned. Concerns of investors are not necessarily concerns of public at large also. Just to give a few ideas about the topics which was raised earlier.
Okay, excellent. I think I'm going to let this run for another 10 minutes. The organisers, that's okay? Good. Let's go back out for a second round. We've got not exactly a forest of hands, but an interesting sort of grove of hands. The gentleman in the front there, if you could pass a microphone, and then we'll take the lady who wrote the wonderful research report from Responsible Research in Singapore. Right?
Thank you, Chairman. Speaking from the chairman of Shanghai Stock Exchange, and also a full presentation from Malaysia, it would seem that actually...
So you are and where from?
I'm Gabriel Kitua from Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, Tanzania.
Welcome, we're glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm talking of an increased role of stock exchange as part of CSR is stock exchange. I mean, as corporates also in the community. They are responsible to look into how listed companies actually can deliver to the community, and for that matter, the markets can be sustainable. And Chairman was challenging a possibility of actually looking into exchanges as to how they deliver, I mean, to kind of develop an index for stock exchanges. Now, my question is, how does that take us on the dialogue on demutualization and listing of stock exchanges? Are we on a turning point that maybe we have to relook again the issue of listing of stock exchanges, because kind of they also have to have the responsibility of profitability? Thank you.
That's such a good question. I'm going to go straight to the chairman and then to Donald McDonald.